And this is the January 14th WIC Nutrition Services Advisory Group. I believe there are 3 people calling in. Can you tell us who you are?
Michelle Martinez, Puebla.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi. And Sue Hauk from Fayette County.
Hi, Sue.
Hi.
Is there a third person?
There's Kim Bemis.
Kim, are you able to hear me?
She may not have called in.
She's just watching, but she may not have called in yet. So is there anything, Lori, you need to say to the group around the phone call and accessing?
There should be on your screen, you should have how to access, and both of you have already called in, so you have the number, and that should be on the webinar screen also in case you get disconnected.
Okay, thank you. Well, Michelle and Sue, also here in this room is myself, and Laurie Scott is helping us with the administering of the webinar because Linda went home ill. Can we also go around the table and you tell us who's all here?
This is Vanessa Hodak, Bridget, and Aaron Johnson.
I think there may be more people coming in. And this call is being recorded. We will post this on the website, and I will develop some final minutes to distribute. And let's see, here's Kathy. Kathy Baker's here. So do you advance the slides or do you want me to?
Either way.
Okay. Well, welcome everybody. We already did roll call, so let's oh, and Kelly McCracken is here too. Can I just do one of these?
Should be able to.
This one? Okay, here's our agenda. I'll spend about 10 minutes talking about, in a way it's a recap, our accomplishments and future direction of improving nutrition services. Then Bridget's going to spend some time with us to a second time on this discussion item to talk about, she's done more work after receiving your feedback on embedding counseling approaches presented by Nora Lynch at the regional workshop. Then we'll spend some time brainstorming for some 2014 state meeting program topics. Then I have some closing thoughts and we'll adjourn. I think some more people have joined in. Can you tell us who joined in from outside?
This is Kim from Gunnison. I just got off another phone conference, so
well,
I have to do some jumping jacks or something.
We'll do that. Just mute your phone.
I have been. I have a weights and exercise band, so I did that during my last one.
Very good. I now stand at my computer when I work, and now I'm starting to do yoga poses while I'm working.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I may fall on my face with dancers, but I try. So,
well, if you hear a big crash, that's me falling over.
Okay, or hopefully not a weight on your toe. Has anybody else joined us? Okay. Way back, October 2012, we met for the first time. Our charge was to enhance the quality of WIC nutrition education and counseling. How are we going to do that? We were going to throw out ideas. From those ideas, I was going to develop and did develop the Colorado WIC Nutrition Services Delivery Action Plan. The next 3 months, we spent sharing ideas, and I incorporated them into the action plan. The group, I think, reviewed them at least twice, and the final action plan was published in January of 2013. So a whole lot of work happened between October through January. And if you recall, this is what it looked like. I extracted just the beginning of it with our little et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then throughout 2013, various components of the action plan were implemented. And at our last meeting in November, we reviewed what we implemented. We looked at all of our accomplishments, and then we started to discuss, well, what about next year? What about 2014? What do we need to add there? And also during the November meeting, we assessed the group interest in remaining involved. So since that meeting, Linda doodled everybody for potential meeting dates, and at the same time, I created the first draft of the 2014 Nutrition Services Delivery Blueprint for Action. I changed the term from action plan to blueprint for action because it wasn't necessarily an action plan per se, but it was a blueprint. So just a change in name there in the middle of the year. So regarding the blueprint for 2014, I shared the first draft with Patricia last week. I also plan to meet with Tracy Miller next week. I want to develop measurement criteria for the 2014 plan. I think that will help us even further direct our efforts and decide from the very beginning what we're going to accomplish and how and when. And I hope to have the 2014 blueprint finalized by mid-February, so then we use 2014 to move forward with our second year of improving nutrition services. But as for the doodle results, there were a total of 5 local agency staff who indicated interest to continue to participate. We started off with around 12 local agency people, and because of job changes, resignations, disinterest, it's now come down to 5 people. So now we came to the question, do we need to recruit new members or do we disband this advisory group? And I thought about this long and hard, talked it over with Patricia, talked it over with the consultants, and we decided to go ahead and disband the advisory group formally to not anymore have any the every other month conference calls. The reason being is that our initial charge was to pull together everybody's ideas and develop a plan. And we did that. Now, it's not to say that at the end of 2014, we may find it's time to rev up again and get new ideas. But I think for 2014, I think that we have enough to go on that I think we can move on without having these formal meetings. But disbanding the group won't be without some fanfare. What I'd like to do is talk about that at the end of the call, and instead now just start to move on to the content of the call. So I'd like to turn it over to Bridget, who's going to help us, or we're going to help her provide more feedback for whatever she needs.
Sure. So, hi everyone. Before I begin, I just want to thank you all who were able to provide feedback. So about 2 weeks ago, I sent an email out to the group asking for feedback on appreciative inquiry questions. And I do realize everyone's really busy. So for those of you who took some time, thank you so much. I think it really strengthened the questions that were selected. Also, to follow up, to take a step back and follow up regarding the call we had in November. So we discussed the resources and tools that are being developed to continue the momentum with regional training, specifically around Nora Lynch's presentation. And we asked for your thoughts and your feedback. And from what I remember, we had there was some discussion about clarifying when to use appreciative inquiry specifically during the appointment. And some of the feedback gathered was, what about utilizing the nutrition interview? So I'm happy to say that if any of you have had a chance to look at the Colorado WIC News, there is a featured article in there regarding how to begin using appreciative inquiry, going over the steps for your colleagues and your staff, and a practice point. And the practice point points them to the nutrition interview. And there, thanks to your feedback, we have embedded appreciative inquiry questions for staff to begin practicing that technique that Nora had discussed. And so it may be really too early to ask this because it was just released yesterday, the article, and maybe some individuals just opened it today or maybe not at all. But have you heard anything regarding use of those starters prompts in the nutrition interview regarding the appreciative inquiry questions?
I haven't, but I'm a basically one-person office and haven't read the newsletter yet.
And that was Kim, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I know. You're very busy. Anybody else? It might be too early to ask this question, but I was just curious. No? Okay. So the tools that we had discussed last call were, it was also brought forward to the Wellness Coordinator group to get their feedback. So I got some additional thoughts for them. They want more examples of how to use the techniques, but it sounds like, from what I gathered, it's still a new concept that really isn't being implemented. I know regional training was quite a ways away, so hopefully with these new tools that will be posted, maybe it would offer a jump start to get gears in motion with utilizing these concepts. But there was good reception to it. They were very thrilled to hear about utilizing appreciative inquiry questions tied to the nutrition interview. So we'll see how that goes, and perhaps we can use that in a different way, maybe some more appreciative inquiry questions when those get a little old. We'll see the feedback that's generated from that. So I just wanted to share with you the plan moving forward with that. So if there is a need, and more importantly, if there is an interest, we can explore developing some more ESOL cards. If you remember, that's what Nora had provided us at the regional training as a quick reference to using her concepts. But from what I gather, the cards that are already out there and that are posted on the WIC website aren't really being utilized. So it doesn't seem best to probably offer more until perhaps there's an interest in using what's already there. The training tools, so the training agendas, will probably be released sometime next month and distributed to directors and supervisors and posted on the website. And it can be modified however the agency or the clinic feels fit to utilize as they want. It really is just a jumping off point to get the momentum going again. And then there will continue to be Colorado WIC News articles regarding the different concepts that Nora talked about, such as change talk and turbo global setting. And if I get any feedback, perhaps there will be an article regarding that as well, just so it stays in the forefront of our minds. Other than that, I am open to any other feedback. If you have any later on, you can always email me or call me if you have any ideas or suggestions. But I just wanted to provide a quick brief overview of what we discussed, what has happened, and what will happen. Any questions that I can answer? Okay, well that was it for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Read that article. Please read the article. In fact, this is the first issue of the WIC News where we're able to analyze how many people opened up the WIC News, how many read which articles, and also we're going to be able to receive comments on selected articles. This particular time it's the Be Your Success Detective, and it's the one on e-cigarettes. So we're we're moving into the world of technology, and we're interested to see what we find out about how well readership is with the WIC News. So if we can move forward. Any other further questions, though, or comments about incorporating appreciative inquiry into our counseling?
I think it was a great idea to put it on the nutrition questionnaire form. So, I mean, people are used to looking at and using that, so that we'll use those more so than the little cards.
Did you talk about the toolkit?
Well, we did talk about it last call.
You did?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I showed some screenshots.
Okay. Okay, because she's also developing a toolkit that will be working with the directors. Because I think perhaps another need, not just for having it in the nutrition interview, that's important, and also maybe more practice.
Yeah, you know, the difficult thing with regional training being, you know, I hate to say it, long gone and forgotten since it was in August, is reacquainting staff with the concepts that were presented. Because anytime anyone attends a training, it really is not an end of itself. There has to be some momentum continued in the clinics and some support for staff to try new concepts, especially with counseling. But it really is just to be used as another counseling tool in their tool belts to pull from, so they can have options and better help the participants and set the stage for some positive interactions. So, you know, I'm going to put some emphasis when the toolbox is ready to be put out, probably another article, you know, a letter to get supervisors and directors interested in utilizing the resources for staff development.
Okay. Well, thank you, Bridget. We'll move on to the next agenda item, the 2014 State Meeting Program. Let me explain a little bit before we move into our brainstorm session. Thursday, the whole day, we're all going to be in a big, big room. We're going to listen to two presenters from the University of California at Davis, and they're going to present baby behavior curriculum. Some of us have viewed and listened to the University of California folks at NWA meetings, and were so impressed with the quality and the content in order to give educators and all local staff more ways to help mothers when mothers are encountering problems, and also just ways to understand their baby's communication cues. Not to put you on the spot, but Kathy, do you have anything more to say about the baby behavior?
It was just such a great training. Some of you on the call might have seen parts of it or been exposed to it, and it incorporates parenting skills in there too. And I thought it was fabulous, and I'm very eager to do this. I think all of you are going to really enjoy it too.
Yeah. We think that it will have long-term effects in helping mothers understand that a baby crying doesn't necessarily mean they're hungry, doesn't necessarily mean it's time just to put a bottle in their mouth or a breast in their mouth. We just think it's going to have lots of implications for happier babies and happier mothers and family. So we're very excited about that. So that's all day. And Bridget was just talking about how hard it is once we have a training to then work towards embedding it more into the WIC visits. And so we, in a way, learned a lesson. And now Bridget and Vanessa are going to be going to a presentation, a 2-3 day presentation at University of California to learn how to implement it and to develop an implementation plan that so that we're prepared. Once everybody gets trained, we can just get rolling with it the very next day, the very next Monday, actually, when everybody's back in clinic. So because Thursday's all taken up, and Friday morning from 8 to 9, we were thinking of having the networking sessions where the LARCs can get together, the breastfeeding coordinators can get together. So that first hour we are expecting will be taken up. So then on Friday morning, what's left is between 9 and 10:30 will be 5 concurrent sessions in 5 separate rooms. The consultants met just yesterday, day before. It was not too long ago. For me, it all starts to run together. And we came up with what we thought were 5 general areas. So what we would like to do is hear what you have to think. We tried to think of tracks. We were thinking we didn't need a breastfeeding track because so much of baby behavior is our ways to promote and support breastfeeding. So instead, we thought, well, let's think of the educators. So something around nutrition 101 of some sort. Something for either management or supervisors. And then we were thinking of 3 other areas. And I also see we have Kelly here who may actually have another idea of something that you think needs to be listed up here. But we were thinking interconception health, substance abuse, and perinatal depression. So I'd like to just open it up and see what other ideas you might have as we try to construct 5 sessions for Friday morning.
How long is the session?
An hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
Kelly, do you have a thought?
Yeah. Well, I'm always a proponent for, chronic disease prevention, specifically diabetes prevention, but I love that interconception health is in there, and I think, if it's an hour and a half and we wanted to incorporate diabetes prevention in interconception health, that could be a fit, because that's definitely a piece of interconception health in terms of getting back down to your healthy weight. And it's all about diabetes prevention, really. Come right down to it. So I could see a fit for it in there if you're interested in that. I'd be happy to give input into that session.
Okay.
Well, with that one too, healthy eating because the interconception is the same thing. Can sometimes affect that as well.
You were a little quiet. The volume was a little down. Could you say that again, please?
Yeah, I said with the interconception health, you could also work in a little bit with regards to obesity, because same thing, that can affect your interconception health as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and what to do when, what can you do during a very short visit to help the mom not feel bad that she hasn't lost the baby fat, but at the same baby weight, but at the same time help her feel encouraged and give her steps on what she can do to be ready for the next baby. At least we can talk about spacing, but I'm really sure it goes
We
on.
can also add in promotion of weigh and win, which is for most of our moms are on Medicaid, but they qualify for Medicaid's free program, and their BMI has to be a certain. Actually, I don't think that Medicaid has anything to do with it. Their BMI just needs to be 26 or greater, I believe, and they give you incentives, so they'll pay you when you lose weight. And there's weigh stations all over the metro area, and I'm assuming all over Colorado. But that might be a promotion tool that educators can share briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I've never heard of that. What is that?
It's called Weigh and Win, and it's a online weight loss support program in Colorado. I believe it's all throughout the state, and you need to have a BMI, I believe it's 26 or greater, and I think you can be in the program for a year, but depending on the percentage of weight loss you lose, they give you money. And they have weigh stations, so you you go in and you weigh, and actually Colorado Department of Public Health here had a weigh station, and it's computerized where they'll know it's you, so you can't bring your younger, lighter sister in to weigh. So you weigh, and it's legit, and they know it's you, and they reimburse you.
Wow.
So it's a good incentive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know we don't have it here in Gunnison, so I'm going to have to check that out.
Okay, it's
Cool, thank you.
Weigh and win, and I think it's just
Yeah, I've got it up on the internet. I wanted to comment on the baby cues. I'm hoping that she'll be talking about sleeping cues, because I think that's one of the struggle a lot of moms have, is setting up regular sleep routines for their children, and it just makes parenting so much easier if you have well-rested babies.
It is definitely part of the curriculum. Sleep is a major focus.
Good.
During that day's training.
Okay.
For the infant and the mom.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think you're going to love baby behavior. I think it's going to fit a lot of needed gaps in the work that we do.
Well, and I know NFP does a lot of baby cues too, so that'll help reinforce what they're doing.
Ah, I should check with them and see what their basis is for what they're saying.
Yeah, they have different stages of activity, quiet alert, and turning your head away, and relaxed open arms when they're done feeding. And I don't really know what they all are, but I know they have some.
Okay. Any more ideas around the interconception health and what needs to be in there?
Probably a little bit on substance use as well, staying smoke-free and, it probably, wouldn't be as involved, obviously, as what we would have in a substance abuse section, but just some of those same, tips, and then how to incorporate all of that into the appointment. I think that's been the issue in the past, that we haven't pushed it quite as much, pushed counseling for the mom. The focus has been more on the baby. Or if the mom is breastfeeding, we have some focus on her, but if she's not breastfeeding, there's not a whole lot that's focused on the mom. And so I could see, how we can make sure that the mom's needs are met as well.
You know what would be a really fun piece to put in there would be exercising with your baby.
Like the baby yoga and stuff?
Baby yoga, or even, just arm raises with the baby, how you can, sit on the floor and play with them and use them as your weights. I don't really know that much about it, which is why it would be fun to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I think, too, with Medicaid expansion, there's going to be a lot more women who will now stay eligible for Medicaid in the interconception period, which is something that I think WIC has never really had that advantage. It's 6 weeks postpartum. A lot of our mothers then would go off of Medicaid. So I think encouraging mothers to have follow-up with their primary care providers, especially if they had a diagnosis of gestational diabetes or diabetes during pregnancy, making sure they're getting back and wrapping back in high blood pressure, exactly. If anything was diagnosed during that pregnancy, if that was their first foray into the healthcare system, just encouraging that continued access.
And then what I keep hearing over and over again this whole last year and a half was, and then take the information and channel it into what to do during a WIC visit, something sensible guidance for incorporating it into the WIC visit, and tools to help them incorporate it into the WIC visit. So turn it to a practical as well, and applicable.
Sure.
So we've got, what we came up with yesterday was one on interconception health, one on substance abuse, one on perinatal depression, and then one on supervision and one on basic nutrition. What do you think of those 5 categories? We could have a focus on interconception and I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you like those 5 categories?
I think they sound good.
Michelle, do you like them?
I do like them, especially like the perinatal depression too, because we have a lot with regards to that.
And a lot of work is beginning on that here with an advisory group. Erin's going to be on that. And I know when we've had postpartum depression in other state meetings, it was very popular and very well received.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of information, and we don't have, I mean, if you think about it, we don't have a lot of written data to have on.
Yeah, or to recognize or talk about, or, yeah. Okay. Sue, do you have any thoughts on these 5 topics?
Yeah, I like the 5 topics. I imagine with the nutrition one, to really pull in the MyPlate.
Uh-huh.
Perfect. And we've recently developed MyPlate handouts that should come in. So, going to get through the process. But I'd be happy to share too if you're interested.
Yeah, I think next time the consultants meet, we're going to have to take apart each one of these and decide how to go about developing the goals and objectives of each. And I think local materials are going to be really helpful. One thought with the nutrition one was Bruce Rangers has always been so popular and so good.
Yeah,
He's awesome.
Is that a yes from all 3 out there in the field?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so good. Any more ideas of things? Just step back for a moment and think, what is really a hot topic that we just haven't focused enough on here for WIC services?
Well, I think sleep came up a little bit, so I think as long as it's incorporated into some of the sessions, it'll be important to be there somewhere.
It's a big one during baby behavior.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah, I think they sound good. I would have a hard time picking really between the 3. So I would want to go to 3 of them. I think they're great.
I think we might have to tape them and certainly have slides available online so that people can revisit what they missed.
That's a great idea.
Okay. Yeah, I have a feeling you're right that people are going to want to go to 3 or 4 of these.
Especially the first 3.
Ah, okay.
Well, and even Nutrition 101, if Bruce is doing it, he always has good stuff.
Yeah.
So don't complicate it anymore.
It's good enough as it is?
It is great.
Just work the whole thing. Okay.
There hasn't been anything said about the management supervision. Is there interest in that, or is that something you're not interested in because the other ones are so wonderful?
So true.
That would be my last one I would go to, since we don't have anyone to manage or supervise.
Thank goodness we have things now like SurveyMonkey where we can throw out ideas and really evaluate interest in them before we finalize an agenda. We can do that so quick and easy. So I think we might end up doing that. And if something doesn't seem very interested, we'll just get more space available and maybe just have
I
4.
was gonna say, yeah, if one was really
Yeah, that's a good
low,
idea.
not well received, could we just open up like
We could,
a room and make it bigger?
2 of the rooms will hold 100 people. So that helps. And then after the concurrence sessions, and we would have a break, and then we would have a closing speaker, and then we would adjourn for the day and bid people a safe ride home.
Maureen, what are the dates?
The dates are October 23rd and 24th. It's a Thursday and Friday.
Thank you.
And it's going to be at the Marriott in the Tech Center. Are there any other questions even about state meeting? I'm not sure what you know.
Well,
about that.
I know, is there a way to have the speaker during lunch?
The lunch is going to be everybody together, except I think the WIC directors will have their separate lunch with Patricia on Thursday. But everybody will be together. We're going to pay for lunch, have it served at the hotel so that we can use as much time as possible to spend on the training itself. But I think people might want a half an hour, 45 minutes just for a break. And plus there will be exhibits also to go look at. It'll be a busy hour.
Okay.
Thursday is going to be pretty full because baby behavior training itself takes from 6 to 7 hours to do it all. All right. Any other thoughts on state meeting or any questions? Then I'm going to move on. And so I kind of gave you a surprise at the beginning and saying that this group officially will no longer be having the every other month meetings. Is that okay with you? Are you fine with that and actually maybe relieved that you've got some more time?
Personally, like I said before, I enjoy it because I feel like I'm a piece of a larger WIC community rather than being kind of isolated out here. But that's fine.
Sure. Well, first of all, okay, let me add on to that then. What I would like to hear is, given that we don't have the every other month meeting, I have some more questions for you to hear how you would like to stay involved and feel a part of the larger community. Can we continue to request your assistance when we're drafting, say, the 2014 blueprint? If you have the time, do you mind if we send it to you? And if you have the time, you can provide comments and feedback?
Sure, that's fine.
Is that fine?
Yep.
Are there any other suggestions from you on how you can help stay in the larger WIC community?
I can't really think of any, the state meetings always help, and anyway, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and at least there's the monthly conference calls with the WIC directors. I think that helps a little, and the annual planning meeting. But I know, Kim, you're not the director to go to those meetings. But I think anytime they're on the phone, certainly you should listen in. I think anybody should listen in who wants to. And we still have the RDRN calls. Those are going to be proceeding in 2014 with Kathy's facilitation. Any other requests from you on how you can participate or how you could be a part of Colorado WIC? Okay, well, we will, when I get the first draft finished with the blueprint, I'll send them out to you, and feel free to do whatever you want with them, get whatever feedback from whoever, and I'll put a deadline in there. And then there are a couple of big projects that we will be working on this year, especially I think a big one is going to be the WIChealth.org nutrition education, and if we need your feedback with that, we'll be sure to include, if we need local feedback, we'll be sure to include you into those groups. And then also you'll be receiving something in the mail. I wanted to send something to supervisors, but sometimes that's hard to figure out who that is. So what I'm going to do is send a couple of things to you, and that you can then pass it on to your supervisor, if you don't mind. And I think we want to, I don't, you know how sometimes it's hard to find words. This is one time when I have trouble finding words, because your help this year was absolutely critical in us being able to develop decent plans to move forward with. And without your help, we wouldn't have had the quality plans that I believe we ended up with. And it's huge what that means to all of us who really, really care about the work that we do. So I want to thank you very much for your participation and for all the time that you gave to make this a quality experience.
Well, and thank you for being so organized and putting it together so well.
Yeah.
Okay. This was my first time. It's kind of nerve-wracking to do, I'm being perfectly honest. But I love putting PowerPoints together. It's just running the meetings with everybody either looking at you or being out in, I'm just not comfortable. Ooh, yeah.
I think a lot of us can agree with that.
Yeah, I really,
Absolutely.
yeah. Oh,
Very common.
shoot. So I try to make the slides at least a little more something. Oh, so, well, thank you very much. I don't want to waste any more of your time or use any more of your time if it's not necessary. Any other comments from anybody before we adjourn?
No, it was fun to be a part of it.
Well, thank you. I'm sure something similar will be formed later when we see a need. I think we have what we need right now, and we can move forward with other things. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.